Hey, yo, peace, I think I figured some things out. Not everything, just some things. Like this. Hey, yo, I think I know what love is. Love is. Woke up with the turntable playing Phoebe Snow. Secrets in my soul, only on a need to know. In 2 weeks of snow, got the days feeling long. And my wife just told me she don't listen to my songs. LOL, LOL. I be laughing in the text like she really can't imagine what's gonna happen next. I used to live by trap houses, credit cards maxed out. Long distance phone calls, my ex-girl tapped out. Someone stole the Bible that I kept all my notes in. Glad I know the Christ I put my hopes in. Cause he don't speak no European. I don't respond to DMs if it's late in the PM. Just know that I'm reading them. Yo, how I'm supposed to save money working at a shoe store? Quarantine living, tell me what I need you for. If I had my way, I would pull up in a two-door. If I had my way, I would never need to do more. Give me that introspection. If it ain't real, then the kids gon' question. The adults hit you with a silent nod, like most of us only seen one side of God. Ay, are we gon' talk or are we gon' play with it? Was it just a moment or are we gon' stay with it? Was it really nappy when she braided it? Was it really naming it back when we was claiming it? Yeah, we gotta go there. Ain't no talking code here.
Peace, Tay. Hey, yo, I think I know what love is. It's your oldest telling you how much she values y'all's relationship. It's crazy since there's distance. Y'all ain't go astray or estranged. This my mood. Ain't nothing that can change it. It's my homie. It's my baby. What up, ma? She's on her way to graduating a semester early. Working on buying a house to get my nephews out of Jersey. I'm well into my 30s, still I'm wearing jerseys. They say every knee will bow, many of us curtsy. Pandemic got me cursing. What is it to swear? I thought that was a promise, like no more than we can bear. Can't compare to the glory over there that'll very soon be near. They say objects are closer than they appear. Since the Bible is a mirror, that makes a lot of sense. I've been buying crypto, making sure I wear my kicks. It's leather under that lint, it's pressure under that pen. As I'm writing this, my wife is full term with my twin. I seen the ultrasound, can't wait to feel her skin. Can't wait to show her value, can't wait to play her albums. Can't wait to help her strategize and assess outcomes. Dudes will try to bait her, I help her spot the alphas. Teach her about the hill when she stands in front of mountains. And every move you make don't need to come with announcements. I'm accounting for it all. Sometimes I wanna quit, but they're counting on my call. Or when the numbers fudge, then they've been counting it wrong. I'm inspecting specs and ain't account for the log. There is power in all. There is power in y'all. There is power in y'all. Every hour in all. Man. Oh, man. The only us. Black Jordans, white socks. Peace, what up?
Listen. What's going on, everybody? Man, how is everybody doing today? I feel really, really good. I'm really, really excited and happy to be here. God is very good. And we're going to talk about that. So for those of y'all asking about that record, so the name of the song is called I Think I Know, and it's Taelor Gray and Peace 586 from the project they put out, I don't know, two years ago, something like that, 2 years ago. And I was supposed to be on the song, right? So Taylor asked me to get on the record. I write my verse, I record the verse, I forget to send him the file, and then like a week passed. And I hit him like, yo, do you still need that joint? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it. He's like, nah, man, it's already like sent off the mixing. It is what it is. So I missed it. And I'm mad that I missed it. So maybe we can get that mixed and maybe that can go on like Black Jordan's White Sox 3, or that can be a Lucy or something like that. Cause I really, really do love that record. It's a great song. So want to thank you guys for being here. Things are changing in the Armand Wake Up universe, in the Armand Wake Up space. I don't know if I want to talk to y'all about I kind of want to talk to y'all, because here's the thing, I keep saying this, and I was talking to my wife. God bless my wife, right? And And I was talking to her about like this show, because first of all, we ain't had no kids this week. The kids are with the grandparents. Let me tell you, this has been a break that I have needed like I've never needed a break before in my life. And so we just sitting on the couch, things that you get to do when you don't have to worry about kids, right? We sitting on the couch just talking through like our creative stuff. Philip, what up? Shout out to Full Scope Podcast. What up? Courtney, what up? And anybody else who's in here left a comment, make sure y'all like all that good stuff. So we sitting there talking through the joint, talking through today, right? Or talking through this. So what happens, you can like talk through all your creative stuff. My wife got a lot of dope creative things going on. And so we just talking, helping each other out. You know, maybe you could do this, try this, whatever. And I'm like, I keep saying, okay, this is what I want to do for this episode of a Wake Up Tonight. I really want to do like a reconstruction episode. Every time I try to find space to do it, something else gets in the way that I want to talk about. And my wife just so gracious in her just wisdom that she has. My wife is just very intelligent. And she was just like, you know, why does it have to be like this event? Like, why does the reconciliation and restoration and reconstruction have to be like this thing, this moment? It's just a process. So you should always be sharing like where you are. And I think because the deconstruction was what it was, and I walked people through a process, but like now in building back up, it's like it's like if you've ever seen a house get built, it's like driving by the house every couple days to see what they done built, what they done put up. Like, oh man, they put the windows in. Oh man, the foundation is laid. Oh man, they're putting the roof up. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, so with that, it was like, this is a part of my unlearning is what I recognized was like, I think subconsciously I was waiting on this like big bang. Like this is the moment where I can share reconciliation and what God has done. And like, it's just not realistic. That's just not what the journey is. I think, you know, I have to unlearn the altar call. I have to unlearn it. The altar call is what it is. It's great. It's wonderful. It's necessary, right? But like, it is not the way that God works. You know what I'm saying? Like, typically, God works through a series of small decisions, small changes, consistency, right? And so, man, let me tell y'all, God has been dealing with me on so many levels, bro. And just so y'all know, our surprise guest will be here around 9:30ish. I told him like 9:30. So give me about 15, 20 minutes to update my community. I want to encourage y'all because this is just crazy. So, man, so as some of y'all know, by trade, like I'm a wellness coach by trade. So I'm a holistic wellness coach. And I work with veterans. And so veterans who want to set goals and want some accountability in that goal setting and want some practical steps into how to achieve that goal, that's my job. Is to connect them with those resources and help them brainstorm and bear all that stuff. That's my actual job. It's what I do for a living. And I got a new client and we were just talking on the phone, a little like intake call, and it was cool, whatever. And she was like, it's just something about you that, you know, makes me, that feels like, you know, we're supposed to have, you know, some sort of like connection. And, you know, you have to set boundaries with your clients. I didn't feel like this was an issue for me to like set a boundary. I was just like, I just didn't think about it. Like sometimes that's a red flag. So we meet in person. And this is why she's that person. Because when I tell you, out the gate, she starts prophesying to me and she prophesies my face off. in a way that I have not been prophesied to y'all in years. And for me, I know that a lot of people have a complicated relationship with the prophetic. I understand that and I agree with it. I totally empathize with it. If we're talking about fivefold ministry gifts, I operate in the office of a prophet. I believe that there are primary and secondary spiritual gifts. I think anybody can be any one of the fivefold gifts. You can prophesy. If you are a believer and you are filled with the Holy Spirit, you can prophesy. You can preach. You can teach. Right? You can evangelize. You can establish things apostolically. You can do all those things. However, there's a difference between that and actually functioning as a prophet, as a teacher, as an evangelist, as a pastor, right? And as an apostle. My primary gift is the prophetic. I am a prophet, and my secondary gift is an apostle. So I am a prophet with an apostolic edge, meaning I come in and I can prophesy and I can set some stuff up. I can build something from nothing. That's just my spiritual gift from the fivefold perspective. So in that, I've learned a lot. I've gone to prophetic schools. I've had mad on the job training. So I know when niggas is lying. And I know when to discern a prophetic word. I'll just say that. And in many cases, just to tell y'all, when someone is prophesying, they don't always get the whole paragraph. That's not what that is. Really, you get bits and pieces, and everything don't make sense to you. It makes sense to the person that you are prophesying to. And all your job is just to give exactly what you were given. But what prophets do is they fill everything in. So a lot of that stuff be fluff, but some of it be right, but a lot of it be fluff. So when you are a prophet and you have proper prophetic training, I see this, and I see this. God said this phrase, this sentence, this thing, and don't give them nothing else. And that's all I got. That's all I know. It's not this big, but with prophets, man, prophets are often creative. Prophets are often I'm running out of time. Prophets are often emotionally damaged. Prophets often give in to lust and temptation. We have a really hard time with those things, right? So just giving y'all context. With that said, I respect the office of prophet. I respect it tremendously. So when I say someone prophesied to me, I don't take that lightly. It means everything to me because it is someone communicating the voice of God. I don't play. So this woman that I don't know that meets me for the first time just starts bow, bow, bow. She ain't filling in no words, dog. She boom, boom, boom. She let me have it. Bow. She letting the clip go. And I'm just I'm getting shot like Cleo and Set It Off. I'm getting shot like Alonzo in Training Day. I'm getting hit. And she spoke to so many things, and the end result was a sober perspective that I haven't had about God in years. And it's not like she said anything that I didn't know, because when I talked to my wife about it, my wife was like, nigga, we can tell you this. And they have, my friends have, my community have, but I think it was different to hear it from someone who did not know me. And I think the fact that I was able to discern it, and I was like, oh, this is real. So God has been dealing with me with my overthinking. God has been dealing with me with my control. God has been dealing with me through my children. God has been dealing with me with my insecurities. God has been dealing with me through my creativity. God has been dealing with me through my content. God has been dealing with me through my time. God has been dealing with me through what I put in my body. God has been dealing with me in how I move my body and working out. God has been dealing with me in taking care of myself. Look, I got the waves back. Literally I'm doing things that I haven't done in years, things that I haven't paid attention to, things that did not matter now matter. And I'm realizing these are the things, something as little as, I decided to sit down, buy a do-rag, get my leave-in conditioner, and brush my waves back in my head when I haven't had them since the pandemic. That meant something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's 10 of y'all in here, man. Run them likes. Please, 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 please. It meant something. And I'm just like, I'm at this place where, and I actually saw Jackie Hill Perry say this when she was talking about, I think she was on B. Simone's podcast. And she was like trying to rationalize like coming to God, knowing that she was a lesbian. And I was like, and she was like, she realized that God just wanted her to come to him. And then in turn, whatever needed to change would change through coming to him. And that's where I'm at. I'm just like, okay, God, I got all this stuff going on. I got all these thoughts. The overthinking is control, and it's all this stuff that I think is God, but really it's like a wall and all this stuff, man. And I'm just like, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I'm at where I'm at. And I'm like, I'm not rushing anything. And really what the next phase for me is just like creating and not thinking about it. So I wrote 4 verses last week. Doc and I did 2 songs in a day. I've been posting on social media damn near every day. Because I can. It's not hard for me to create content. I'm not being what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't lack in creativity and ideas. It just comes to me. And so I'm trying to think through like social media strategy and watching all these videos. When should you post? When you do all this? And really it just got in the way of me being creative and giving what it is I have for my audience, man. Because I feel like a lot of y'all need what I have. And there's a reason why. It ain't just that I'm dope. It ain't just like, oh yeah, I got longtime fans, this blah, 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 blah. There's some stuff that I'm supposed to get to give to y'all. And y'all been sitting here waiting on me to give it to y'all. So I got to make sure that I'm in position to give y'all what y'all need. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy. I'm thrilled. I've been sleeping well. My wife, again, we enjoying this week off. Philip, I'm just bestowing this week of rest that I'm experiencing to you, my brother. You are going to enjoy this in Jesus. You just going. So it's been great, man. I'm just very, very grateful for this time. I really am. So I'm very, very excited. So what that means is like, yo, music is coming, community is coming, more streaming is going to be coming. It'll probably be more of like my Patreon. So I'll still do this, but like I'm going to stream more consistently on the Patreon and just give that to them and clip out pieces for the public. I'm just like, yeah, Jana, you're absolutely right. I feel more free because I'm catching myself when I begin to overthink, catching myself. I've always like relied and like leaned into the overthinking and like process and putting all the pieces together. And I do think that there is value in that. But I know when I'm overthinking. I know when I'm doing too much, because when I'm doing too much, I'm not producing. Like, Doc and I's album was supposed to been done. It's my fault why the album ain't out, because I've been too busy trying to think through making sense of this and wanting this to sound like this. And then before you know it, it's almost the end of the year. I'm like, I've only done 3 songs for this, right? And so, it threw me. I was like, what's that noise? Actually, it's our guest joining us. So yeah, man, I'm just very, very, very excited. Let me text him and say, give me 1 minute. All right, hold up. All right, give me 1 sec. 1 sec, my G. 1 sec. So today is for the artists. We're gonna have a nice little conversation. We're gonna talk through some things. There we go. All right, let's add this guest in. Where we at? Let's add right. There we go. You
see me?
Yup. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we sound old.
Yo, what's good, man?
Man, you know I got my sunglasses on at night to see what type time it is.
Are you all right?
No, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready to discuss.
Okay. So, I just want to set the tone for the audience. So Tay and I talk. Let me turn this down. Actually, I might need to throw some headphones on. Hold up. Let me see. So Tay and I talk like low key every day. So it was nothing for him to text me with just some random whatever, be it something crazy we saw on social media or, some thought or, sharing music or whatever. There's an echo on the guest in. All right, hold on. That might be me. It might be me. Hold on. Let me put this.
It's echo on my side. I can mute while you're talking.
Nah, I think I'm good. What about now, y'all? Is it still? Oh, I know what it is. Hold up. All right, Taylor, give me a mic check. Nope, that ain't it. I know what it is. Let's see if I can fix it. Hold up. That's so trash. Let me see. Okay, give me a mic check. Take me another one. Yeah, no, that ain't it. That's muted too. All right, what about now?
Check. Echo.
Did I fix the echo?
I can hear one.
You can hear one now?
Yeah.
Come on, man. All right, hold up. Let me see. All right, hold up. I got the headphones on, G. I know you're on mute. Yeah. I got you. This is why I wish Doc was here. Doc would have fixed this. All right, hold on. Let me see. Nah, now it's all good. We're gonna figure this out. Hold up. I might need to do, hold on, let me pull up Lou back. I think I know what to do. Oh, it is a super echo. Okay. Some told me we should have did a dang on is your YouTube preview not muted? No, it is. I'm using, all right, hold up. Let me see. No, that ain't it. Hold up. Come on, y'all. Nope, we ain't doing that. Oh, I'm still muted here. Okay. Wait, hold on, y'all. Hold on.
About now?
What about now? Is this still an echo?
Test. Check. 1, 2.
Check.
You good?
What about now? Y'all still hear echo now?
Check. Making sure it sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Still an echo. Shit sound fine. It sounds fine to me.
You want me to try to hang up and call back in?
Yeah. Yeah, hang up and then I'll hit you right back. Or come right back.
Yep.
Okay. Yo, this is whack, man. All right, I'm using Ecamm and then I have loopback. Yeah, it's the echo of my guest. Yeah, come on, David, you sounded like you know you know what you're doing. All right, hold on, let me see. What if this iTunes? What if it's that? Yo. Okay. Actually, let me see. All right. You back in? Ecamm.
Let me do a mic check. Test. Everything sounding fresh. Or is it echoey as heck?
It sounds fine to me now, but it's really the audience. Let me see if I can. Just waiting to get some feedback out this joint. It's gone now. We good? We good, y'all? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if we good. Okay, beautiful. Fantastic. Cool. Praise God. All right. Beautiful. I fixed it. All right, let's get into it, man. Thank y'all for staying on too. We actually increased in numbers, so appreciate y'all. I know I would have jumped off. I'd have been like, yo, we good. All right, bet. Okay, so I said Tay and I talk low key like every day, and he hit me early. Typically, if he hits me early, that either means he got some timing with the Lord or like something happened. Like he said, "Yo, you recording tonight? You going live tonight?" I said, "Yeah. Why? What's up?" He said, "Yo, I need some space. We need to talk about some rapper things, some life things, some man things, some creative things, and I just want to provide some space, you know, for my guy to get his bars off. He ain't finna rap a 8-minute Funk Flex verse, but you know, I think there's some dialogue to be had. You know, particularly, man, I'm just seeing a lot of changes in terms of like music and in terms of hip hop and like where it's going. And this isn't just a like rap music is dying sort of thing. It really feels like there's really like substantial change that's going on that's going to impact and affect hip hop artists, hip hop lovers, members of the hip hop community, and you know, I think that there needs to be some dialogue. So, you know, first thing I saw was, man, like Bandcamp got sold.
Man. Yeah, bro, like that one kind of hit different because, you know, Bandcamp's been special to us for a long time. And it was the music platform that was most indie artist friendly, in my opinion. So Bandcamp having that kind of just, I mean, very artist friendly interaction, making it user friendly to just upload your music and get it out there. Like, man, it's crazy to see that kind of purity can't be preserved.
Yeah.
You know, like it's got an end date. So I don't know exactly what those changes are going to be, but I know the changes are coming.
Yeah, it was because first of all, I didn't know that the people who created Fortnite owned Bandcamp. That was crazy to me, first and foremost. But you know what it said to me in the statement, you know, they announced that basically like Bandcamp wasn't lucrative for them. And the reason why they sold it was that they wanted it to remain active without, compromising the integrity of the platform. But when you factor in what's going on, I mean, in terms of inflation, in terms of the economy, and in terms of where we live, my first thought is this is not going to be beneficial for the artists, because you can't be that giving like a Bandcamp Friday where they do not take any sales. And I guarantee all of those, Bandcamp gets the most play or gets the most attention, the most sales on those days.
Yeah.
They're not making any money off of that. And it's just like everybody's going to streaming, and it's just like, I just feel like you can't, a platform like Bandcamp can't exist within like the context of capitalism. It just can't. Not as is.
Not forever. Like, we both benefited from it while it was what it was. And, it was almost like a donation to the artist community. Like it wasn't, I'm not surprised they didn't make any money. How could they, compared to what we could make? You know what I'm saying? They're taking very small percentage off of each song or a holistic project. So they're not making any money. We're the ones coming out on top if we're able to connect with our audiences.
Right.
So, I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss just kind of, I think there's kind of a smaller, more niche community in the Bandcamp users.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got very, very skillful artists cutting their teeth in Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always gonna respect that, and we'll see, man. Artists gonna have to just get back out here and pound the pavement, brick and mortar, get in front of people. Like, you're not gonna be able to hide behind the internet no more, man. You're gonna have to get out here and interact. You know what I'm saying?
I just had a conversation with one of my young homies about that. He was like, yo, I realized that I was hiding behind my content. I was asking God to bless, I'm curating these posts and doing all this stuff, and there's all these opportunities to monetize and grow a platform and an audience and all these buzzwords that we can attach to quote unquote ministry of some sorts. But like, if your call is to go outside and get on physical stages and touch actual people, you're limiting yourself, just keeping yourself to a digital standpoint.
Yep. And it's not to be extreme in any direction. Of course, use the tools that are available, but you can't simulate like actually touching the people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing like getting in front of a crowd and either winning them over or just having them receive you. It's better than all kinds of reading comment sections and being on blogs. It's like, how the people feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people have lost that. They're just doing a lot of things on the internet to pander to a largely undefined audience, whether it's a demographic or if it's like an actual relationship. It's just, you're a product to consume, and they don't really know you like that. So you're actually trying to like make them, whoever they are, like you. And then there's like opportunity to connect with people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting, but it's out there.
Yeah. The pander is sky high. You know what I'm saying? Like, attaching your content to trending audio and, attaching your perspective to whatever the hot topic of the day is, even though we're about to touch on a hot topic of the day. It's very pandery, especially if it's not what you really want to do. You know what I'm saying? But like the algorithm and the space makes it so to where that's what you have to do in order to grow your audience. and you're really selling yourself short.
Yeah, no, facts. And before I say anything else, I just had to address Armand's like introduction of the bishop at the beginning of this conversation, bro. That was hilarious. Like it was like I look, Liz was like, you about to get on a like interview, like an internet type thing, and she was shocked because like by this time, bro, I'm worthless. Like
For sure.
I'm totally out the game. But
Typically, yeah.
it's like, but I was like, nah, it's our mind. Like, we do this all the time,
Yeah.
and it's not like work. You gotta figure out how to like change the world. You just talking about what's going on.
Yeah.
And, I feel like your platform is one that kind of facilitates that honesty and people just feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully more people jump on like this and just like, hey, bro, I want to chop it up on one of the Wake Up Wednesdays.
For sure. For
So,
sure. I appreciate
so
that.
that being said, yes, the Panthers at an all-time high. And man, like, I can't really get all the way into that, but I
I
will
want to.
say I mean, we can. I mean, I would definitely, you got
No,
some
go ahead.
bars
Go
to get
ahead. Go
off.
ahead. Say what you was
But
gonna
the only
say.
thing I really have to like what I take away from that is there's an identity crisis. Like,
100%.
people don't know who they are or they don't know who they're supposed to be. And it's just a vulnerability right now. There's open vulnerability.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think the identity crisis is so strong and it exists in so many people, because that's not just an artist issue, that's a people issue.
Right. My opinion is just we got too many people trying to tell us what to do. Like everybody's telling you what to do. Like everybody is an expert. That's exhausting.
Yeah.
It'll make you second guess your every step,
Yeah.
because you're not an influencer. And it's like, wait a minute, like some of these influencers be saying some wild stuff.
Yep.
And by and large, people do not agree with that. But the platform will simulate like this environment of agreement. It's just like, man, people don't live like this. Number one, people ain't even watching this right now. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I would say, and another thing I wanted to say was like one of the top pander mechanisms that's out there is the dating, relationship, marriage game. Top pander.
Do you listen? I've never when I was single, I was putting out all this like relationship music, and I'd be on Twitter throwing my little bars off. Meanwhile, I was wilding out, smashing X, Y, and Z, doing all this other stuff. It's like now that you get married, and I think we've said this on a COVID community or something like that, but like the humility that marriage does to you and whatever your perspective was when you were single. And
Yep.
so for niggas to get in a space and just be like, this is what it is to be in a relationship. It's like, you are loud and wrong, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. Loud, wrong, and inexperienced,
Yep.
and no real credibility outside of just how well you can package your message.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dangerous, bro. It's just too many people telling everybody what to do. And again, like if it's consumerism or capitalism, this is the place to be. But, when you get into these conversations about, you know, relationship dynamics and, what men should be or what women should be, it's just, man, it's frustrating because it really just leaves you, again, like with a real insecurity about your own decision making,
Mm-hmm.
because comparison is inescapable,
Yeah.
you know. So I don't like it, bro. I don't like it, man. I'm on my Chief Keef. So sometimes I just gotta go dark and be like, bro, like I don't want no more advice.
So, so it's weird, and maybe I can use this as a transition to talk about, what we really want to talk about is like, when I listen to this Drake album, I hear a 36-year-old man like whining about young women that he's dealing with. And there's so many things that come to mind, but the first thing that comes to mind is there's such a disconnect. For one of the most relatable artists, that was one of the strengths of Drake, was that he was relatable. To now, what happens when your audience grows up and wants you to grow up with them? You know, 2011, folks was in their mid-20s. Yeah, you sending risky texts. You know what I'm saying? You ain't doing that 10 years later. Like, you are you are in the bed managing your screen time.
Growing up.
You're growing up. And so, you know, it's just very interesting that, like, when that's pointed out, it becomes an issue of, among many things, like artists responding to critiques, and if that's even like okay to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it just, man, I really just believe there's kind of like this generational disconnect in communication. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see this in the NBA too. Like when Charles and Shaq talk about a player and they just look at him as haters. You know, I feel like Joe Budden is the Charles Barkley of hip hop. You know, like he is constantly questioned about his credentials, but real ones know.
for sure.
Like real ones know. Real ones know that they would never question Charles Barkley in the NBA ever.
Right.
But you know, it kind of translates in that way, in my opinion, for Joe, where it's like he has a right to offer an opinion. Like we care about what he says about certain things. And he has an interesting perspective that creates conversation. So, you know, the things that I guess bother me a little bit about Drake is that he's supposedly supposed to represent like standard. Like he's at the top of the hill in some kind of way, not just as an artist, but like as a personality, like as an influence. And it's like I just really don't relate to him on a lot of stuff. You know, like as a man, like I'm just like I don't aspire to what you aspire to. Like you're making jokes about someone in a way that like doesn't really make sense to me. Like so somebody can be doing well and because they're not doing as well as you, then they're nothing and they're a failure.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to me, bro. Like talking to aspiring artists now who think, you know, in the extremes, like I've either got to be as successful as Drake or I'm a failure. You know, not defining your success or defining your trajectory or just the way this is going to play out. And Drake is reinforcing that by basically saying, like, yeah, you are a failure if you're not on my level. You want to be on my level. And to be honest, he looks miserable up there.
Exactly. Yes.
He looks miserable, bro.
I mean, like, you know, like if you listen to the lyrics on this album, like he is clearly medicating with like harder drugs.
Yeah.
Miserable in terms of, you know, like if the world, just imagine if like the world was your oyster. If you had however much money you need in order to do whatever you wanted and have access to whatever you wanted, and you do that and then you're not satisfied. If anything, it makes things worse.
And so it's interesting you say that because the person they said was A&R of this album was Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant had expressed that same sentiment when he won his second ring with Golden State. He said, I don't feel satisfied by this, you know? So end of the day, man, like I don't want to judge the man or anything like that, but I can still identify some things that don't make me look up to him. You know, like he doesn't that wouldn't be an insult to me. And another thing, really the big thing that I've been thinking about a lot is his depiction of 400 and some odd men in a room scrunch facing to Move Music 29
With a Nietzsche jeans.
with a Nietzsche jeans.
First of all,
bro,
you were one of the 450 guys in the room, so cut
come
that
on,
out.
bro. Come on, bro. And you can laugh at a Nietzsche jeans in hindsight, but Drake, what is your fashion credibility? Like, I mean, who are we talking to here? Like, I don't look at him as the person to critique fashion. And, you know, beyond all of that, like, what's wrong with a room of 400 rocking the sarangs? You know what I'm saying? Like, this idea of an attack on somebody's masculinity, you know, or making it seem like you don't have any kind of fun unless you have it with women around. And it's like, bro, like, you don't keep that same energy in sports context. You know, like, it's nothing for a group of guys to just watch a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a group of guys to listen to some hip hop, that's another sport. What are we talking about in the barbershop? We're talking about sports and hip hop most passionately.
Mm-hmm.
So when he identifies like this group of dusty dudes with, you know, a heavy kind of fandom of lyrical rap, I'm like, bro, come on, dog. Number one, you a lyrical rapper.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what is your issue? Like, at the end of the day, you looked up to Joe,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't change the footage. The footage is the footage,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't take that back. You know, so I don't like this depiction of men having a good time at a show in a lot of lyrical rap. The way we came up, it was a lot of dudes at the show. The Wu-Tang and Nas show, we definitely outnumbered the women at the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like in certain contexts that makes sense. So if you don't want to be Drake and be swimming with women in their own condominiums, like if you don't want that, and you just like, those dudes they're being put in a dusty category,
Mm-hmm.
like, with some energy. If you are a bunch of dudes who like to listen to rap, you know, you scare the hoes away. That's
Right.
the message. But I don't believe that, bro. Like dudes can just be chilling and just enjoy the craft of rap, or that part of it is more technically appealing to us. Versus what I feel like, you know, a lot of times women are thinking about content. Like, what are you saying, and do I connect with that? Do I feel that? And I think it can be a both and. So again, like, that little dig at, like, quote unquote underground hip hop, like, of course that personally offends me. Like, bro, I know my metrics, man. It's mostly
Yeah.
dudes that listen to my music,
Yeah.
but I'm not even mad at that. Like, it's a lot of love there. It's a lot of camaraderie there. It's community
Mm-hmm.
there. Like, bro, relationships have been my entire music life. So that kind of camaraderie, it's like dudes who still have that ego issue, where if they're not like in some sort of control or influence of women, then they're not like a man. And like, you know, that insecurity, bro, like, it's one thing to wrestle with it, but it's one thing to project it and make it seem like it's a standard. It's like, bro, you
Mm-hmm.
got to go to therapy, Drake. I don't want to hear another album from Drake until he goes to therapy,
Yeah.
because that man sounds hurt. Like, I mean, I'm not even insulting him. It's like, man, you are in pain. You got to get help.
He need one of them altar call hugs, like long.
The rub your back, rock back and forth. Like,
I
just
ain't gonna
let
tell
it
you.
break down.
I ain't gonna tell you the story about how one of your men, somebody you know, ended up hugging a dude from the back after an altar call at a service I
Oh,
was
man.
at. He said
Nah,
the
bro. I
pastor
probably know who you talking about.
the pastor said give him a hug, and it came up from behind.
Nah, bro. That's crazy. That's
He's like,
is
whoa, no, turn
insane.
around.
That is insane. That
But
is
yo,
insane.
here's the other thing though. when we talk about like let's make the conversation bigger. When you talk about pandering to women with music, in my experience, my pathway had a pit stop in the open mic space. When I first moved to Columbus, there were no hip hop open mics. So when I got here, it was like the tail end of like the Long Street run, right? So I caught like the butt end of Slingshots era and all that stuff. And so
was that 2009-ish, 2010?
Yeah, yep. Okay. That's exactly when. Yep. And so I'm outside and I'm trying to figure out where the rappers at. They're not around. I didn't see them. You know, whatever was happening in the city. That's fine. It just so happened that there were 2 open mics in the city. And that's where I went to just get my bars off. I wasn't even trying to like, you know, build an audience and all this stuff that we have to worry about now. I was just like, yeah, I got bars I want to get off, and I want to get them off in a space where that is received. And in those 2 open mics, first of all, one of them was at Easton. One of them was on Thursday nights at Easton, where the Bibby Bop is, like at the top of the stairs. One of them was when that spot was Cup of Joe's, and there was another spot that was close to campus. I say all that to say, anytime I went to those spots, and the opportunities that afforded me from going to those spots, they were dominated by women. And the biggest takeaway that I got was that women like lyrics. Now, they might not like a Conductor Williams instrumental, you know what I'm saying, with a sample.
How are they delivered?
Yeah, how are they delivered? They may not like that. Yeah. Some do. But ultimately, the presentation is of a place where I don't have to make a song for the girls to reach the women. And so
that's why Drake put his son in the video.
Why
because it was cute.
For sure. I mean, he's still on his redemption tour with that too. Yeah, still on the redemption tour.
Continue. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Yeah. So first of all, I like miss me with this idea that you have to make music about women in order to cater to women. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, it's kind of like it's pandering. Like, hey, ladies.
Hey, ladies. For my ladies.
Yeah, all the ladies make some, like, nah, man. Do something that will make the ladies spit something metaphor. Like, I bet you, I'm going to say something funny. If Cannabis rapped a cappella and slowed down what he was saying.
Cannabis is the perfect person to pick, because I just was looking at that battle between him and LL, because in some ways this is kind of that situation. And he hits him with the bar like 99% of your fans wear high heels. And LL hits him with the 99% of your fans don't exist. And I know Cannabis is considered a win, but that bar was a bar.
I got LL winning that battle pretty clearly, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you would be arguing with a lot of people about that. For sure. But
hey, man, I think Nelly beat KRS-One in their battle. So whoever got smoked for me. Yeah, whoever got smoked for me.
Okay.
Somebody give me a KRS-One line from their battle. Nobody can. You just want to get the win because Nelly is Nelly and KRS is KRS. Miss me with that. No, argue with me for real. You'll lose the argument because Nelly won that battle. I don't care. But
that matchup is crazy.
Crazy. 2003 was a crazy time. But let me ask you this though. So when it comes to like a Joe Budden versus Drake, can artists respond to critique? And if so, is there a method to do so that doesn't produce this? Because Drake, here's the other thing. Drake had this in the tuck. He had that paragraph saved in his notes app. You know what I'm saying? But to a larger degree, let's say Black Jordan's White Sox 3 comes out. Let's say your next project comes out, and there's a platform. Say like I want to shoot at a platform so bad just because you're here. I want to say something so bad and I've been trying to find space to say it.
Oh, snap.
But let's say a platform comes out and let's say we don't get a favorable review. We get like a bad review. We get like 2 out of 5. We get 2 mics in the source. Like, is there space for us to respond to that, or is it like, are we in a critique driven economy?
I don't think we're ever in it personally. This is how I feel personally. I don't think we're ever in a position to argue with critics. I think, you let people feel how they feel. You want to be received by critics at the end of the day. Like, that's part of what drives you, is to win the favor of the general audience, or if it's not like the professional audience, it's like you connect with your fans. You know what I'm saying? And that's the win. Like, I guess that's the thing that throws me off about this whole thing, is like, artist to artist, there should be like a level of understanding and respect, between somebody dissing you and somebody critiquing you. And it matters who it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I use the NBA example because Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal are people you should listen to, even if it makes you mad. Like, okay, like, I'm not mad at you mad, but bro, like, if anybody should be able to say some things, it's you. So that's, in my opinion, that's Joe as a rapper. But then even beyond that, Joe as a fan, like a real fan, like, you mean to tell me that your fans can't give you feedback about your music?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's an exchange we need. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need fans to be able to be honest about how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't know, like, it depends on how big your audience is, but you still want to connect with your core base. Some people don't have a problem leaving their core base behind. Like, he's saying, like, I'm going to the 20-year-olds. And I don't know, bro. Like, that's tough to do without, like, kind of like understanding how your core fans feel.
Right. I mean, Drake, though, and this is kind of one of his problems, is that Drake has, like, he is literally trying to cater to multiple, like, niches. So there's the girls, there's the goons, there's the rapidy rappers, there's the, fly, like, there's so many spaces where he's made music over the years. It just feels like, excuse me, and I saw somebody say this today, is that it just feels like it's more of a collection of music, but it's still presented as an album, so it's treated as such. But I think a larger part, in response to something you said, is like, yo, how people critique matters, just like how people respond matters. Hip hop media is trash, right? And even like at large, right? Because Julian asked the question, what artist, that's at S tier level responds to critique in a healthy way? What S tier hip hop media has critiqued something in a healthy way, right? Like, the closest is probably Joe, but you are critiquing, when we open up the Source, and this is just us being old, when I opened the Source magazine and I read a review, if it was a rapper from New York, because if it was like a West Coast album, like, it was super biased. But if it's a rapper from New York and I'm reading this article, the article is made in a way, it's written in a way to where it is respectable of the artist, respectable of the art, and it encourages you to either buy the album or not. But nowadays, in a social media space where the currency is going viral, and then what goes viral? Controversial things, hot takes, brash statements. So people aren't even critiquing with the idea of, let me give out this genuine assessment of this body of work with respect to the artist. It's what is the craziest, wackiest thing I can say to get a rise out of people, to get clicks so I can get more money. So now that the critique is compromised, we're now expecting the response of the artist. Because here's the thing about Joe. Listen, man, Joe can't throw rocks and hide his hand with me. Like, bro, I've been a fan of yours since 2001, a deep fan. So I know that you are notorious for saying some chatty-patty, underhanded, passive-aggressive stuff. And then when someone calls you out on it, you're like, oh, who, me? No, I just respect the. So in this case, it's like, yo, everybody's wrong. We gotta destroy and rebuild. Word to Nas.
I have accepted Joe's metamorphosis into a quote unquote journalist or member of the media. And that is the kind of media member that I want to hear from when we talk about music, because you can see how his creative mind starts traveling in directions normal people would not talk about. You know, like people who aren't creators, they're just experiencing it. But when a creative or creator talks, it's like, man, that's crazy how they did that. So I like hearing from him from that perspective. And again, as a Drake fan, like I was watching, somebody was talking about how when he specifically said the 25-year-old act said it was personal. And then, of course, he tried to explain it away on the episode today. And basically he said, here's the lyrics.
That was crazy.
And it was that. And so I think, bro, this is crazy that we over here talking about Drake like this, because it's so funny how this dude literally elicits so many thoughts. You know what I'm saying? That's where he's similar to Kanye. But I feel like Drake is more frustrating because of the pander, because Ice says something really quick and they didn't really stay on it too long. I don't know if they came back to it because I didn't finish the podcast, but he said it was a strategic misdirection because of the Rihanna stuff.
Yep.
Which was getting him killed. He was getting fried over that.
And what's funny, when we we recorded our CRS review last night. Go to patreon.com/CRS podcast to check that out. Dropped this morning. I missed that whole section of the album where he's shooting at Rihanna and ASAP. And I was like really?
I know, really? Bro, that's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, really? Why?
I mean, you could say the same thing about Kanye. You can say why for some of Kanye's stuff.
Saying that to who? To Kim?
Nah. Just some of the stuff that Kanye does, just like why? Why are you?
No, 100%. Yeah, there's all kind of whys with that dude. But anyway. But this is the reason. Like, I think I would say us in general, I have been hearing across the board that they wanted some more raps. They wanted some raps.
And even that is a bit of a projection, because when you say for all the dogs, now you interpret what that means. And now you're holding this person to what you think their interpretation of what that is. So. But
don't they have the right not to like it?
Yeah, of course.
Even if they got it wrong?
Of course.
If we misinterpret it, we got it wrong.
It's why. Because people are projecting in their critique. They're interjecting themselves and their own expectations into that. And so it becomes like when it's art, it's complicated. So you have to make sure that your heart and your mind is clear enough to where you're not listening to this stuff with a bias.
I don't know, man. And so why I would agree with you, that is so tough, because we are biased. And for me, I'm biased towards my enjoyment of Drake as a rap artist. So that's primarily what has my attention about him as an artist. So I'm like, this doesn't appeal to me. This isn't for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that means I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm hearing a lot of people say that. So, end of the day, it's not. I think critique gets misinterpreted as character assassination. You know,
I don't
like
know if it's
it's.
misinterpreted though,
But I don't think that's the design of critique is to assassinate somebody's character.
but people use it
Particularly
to
like
do that.
you could, but if you're looking at a piece of art and you're describing the reasons why you don't like it,
Hmm.
doesn't mean that you're saying it's trash. Like in essence,
Right.
it's just something you don't enjoy, and this is why. So I think I don't know, bro. Drake just seemed mad sensitive to me, bro. Like bro, just take the L. Like, people feel this way across the board. I think that's what's become clear is that people feel this way, like some even stronger than what Joe said.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean,
And
Joe
then
had.
Drake, one last thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Drake don't even mess with hip hop media, bro.
For
He
sure.
don't mess with no hip hop
For
media.
sure.
So why should he continue to expect grace from hip hop media when he just basically be flipping birds?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. So I'm on the. If we're talking critique, and here's my response to why I said about why I don't necessarily agree with misinterpreting, just because with an artist like Drake, an artist like Kanye, when these artists put so much of themselves into their music, it is inevitable that you are going to prick on the character of a person when you were talking about their art because so much of themselves is already in it. So people in
Yeah.
turn will use their art to critique the person or use the person to critique the art.
Yep.
So some of these comments that people have said, and I'm gonna read some of them because they're really interesting. So Full Scope Podcast. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up here. Let me see if you can see this stuff. So Full Scope says it's tough for a top tier artist to please so many different types of audiences. Drake has been an anomaly for years, and I agree with that because when we talked about this on CRS yesterday, it's like, yo, who has been at this level? Who has been at this level? Like, who are his peers? And it's not Kendrick and Cole from that sense. You know what I'm saying? It may not even be Jay from that sense. Like, now you're getting into your Beyonce, Michael Jackson, just simply in terms of like international, transcends popular culture. Like Kanye's in that space, I believe, or Kanye was in that space for a long time. So what do you do? Do you continue to pander? And I hate to use pander because we've slandered pander throughout this episode, but like, do you continue to try to reach out to all of your different audiences and appease them? Or do you just say, yo, this is what I'm doing. Either y'all coming with me or y'all not? Because the other reality about Drake is that he makes way too many people too much money. And if he decides to do with maybe what he wants to do, somebody's going to pull him to the side and be like, hey, big dog, my pockets is a little lighter. I need you to go back to do what you were doing so that you can, you know what I'm saying? So I can stay paid. So many people are relying
No,
on that Drake
100%.
ecosystem.
100%. A lot of people. You're right.
Yeah.
You're
So
right. No, I mean that's definitely a great point. Great thing. Great point to consider. And bro, I'm just coming down to the point where that dude is from Canada. Like, he just moves different, bro. Like, it's so many things that have not made sense to me for years, but maybe they're not supposed to make sense. Like, half Jewish, half black. He ain't said nothing about this whole situation in Israel. Like, he ain't got no connection to that, and I won't even go any deeper. I'll just say that. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say because okay, two things. So I'll go Drake and I'll go personal. So there's a line, or there's a selection of bars on 6 p.m. New York where he talks about that, like why he
Yep.
chooses not
Yep.
to, talk
I
about
remember.
important things, right? The other
I
thing
remember.
is, and this is something that I've even just struggled with, like as a believer, is like anytime there's an Israel-Palestine conflict and that comes up, I'm like, I don't understand why. I don't understand like the issue, and not understand like I
No,
don't know why they fight. I literally do not know what's going on. So
same.
when it
Yeah.
becomes so from that instance, it's like, am I supposed to say something because I do know that this has like biblical context, biblical implications, perhaps depending on how you read and interpret the scriptures, right? And I'm like, well, as a Christian, am I supposed to say something in the same way? Just because Drake is Jewish, is he supposed to say something? You know what I'm saying?
Well, first, number one, no, we're not supposed to say something about everything.
Right.
Like it's again, that's another aspect of being told what to do. You're supposed to say something. You're supposed to know this. You're supposed to know that. And I'm like, there's no way I can be well informed about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And certain things are not an ignorance in the sense of harm. It's just you can't make that much time in your life to care about everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just real. I am not very informed about the conflict either, but I just got back from the Holocaust Museum this weekend,
Mm.
so I was traveling with a group of members of the Black community and the Jewish community. We went together to go to the Holocaust Museum and then the African American Smithsonian Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And we got into some real conversations
Mm.
on that bus.
Yeah.
Like we was on a bus with a professional development emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the relational aspect exposed me or gave me opportunity to better understand. But that doesn't mean I need to run the social media and act like I'm the guru,
Yeah.
or I have the life changing perspective. It's like I respect the people who have done the research
Mm-hmm.
and do know what to say or have a conviction. I don't need to, I guess, duplicate what they're doing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
straight up. So, answer is no for me. It's like, yo, man, I don't have anything to say on this.
Yeah.
And the reason I made, and because number two is the reason I made the comment about Drake is that it's a proximity thing. It's what I did learn about being Jewish is that it's core identity stuff. Like you have a bar mitzvah and
Mm.
there's culture and tradition. It's funny. Liz and I have been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm
Mm-hmm.
on HBO,
Mm-hmm.
and that is an invitation into a certain type of Jewish experience for
Mm.
Larry David
Mm-hmm.
and all of those Seinfeld people.
Mm-hmm.
So it it is my mind is broadened to the concept of Jewishness
Mm-hmm.
because I'll tell you what, ain't nobody want to talk about on the bus. Ain't nobody want to talk about Black Hebrew Israelites. They didn't
Quiet.
want to talk
Were
about,
they around?
bro. No, they weren't. Oh,
Okay.
bro, I would have forced the issue if they were around. But one of the things they try to make that, well, they did ask us to do is come to the front of the bus and say three people you would have dinner with. And so I said Dave Chappelle, and then I looked around. I was like, I don't trust y'all. I'm not telling y'all my other two. Like I don't know y'all like that.
Right. Because they would have judged y'all. They would have judged you.
Bro, because the next person that came to my mind was Kanye West.
Right.
And let me say that in a room full of Jewish people. And,
Would
you
have been
know,
over.
we got there, but all of that to say the overseas conflict, I respect you if you've done your research and really know about it. Um, that gives you the right to speak on it. I'm not informed.
So I want to switch. I want to switch gears, and I want to talk about your new experience as a teacher.
Mhm.
So what grade are you teaching?
Seniors,
You're teaching seniors. Okay. Okay. And you're teaching them what?
social studies,
Okay.
government, History of U.S. government.
Okay. So I feel like, have you had a Drake conversation with them?
I know how some of the students feel about Drake.
Okay.
Um, him kind of like as an OG and um, somebody they listen to sometimes, but they're not like hardcore fans.
He's an old head now for them.
Yeah,
It's
OG.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yep.
So when he does a record with somebody like a Yeet, like that's him reaching out to them, and they're like, nah, I'm not. I ain't. We loved when Drake hopped on records with Migos and Future when they were new and all that stuff, but like this generation of kids, like get out of here, old man.
But what was our version of that? Like when we were growing up?
I mean, like, so Drake hopping on like the Versace remix with early Migos, Drake hopping on Tony Montana, Drake doing
No,
the record with Kendrick with effing Problems, like.
I'm sorry. I should have clarified what I'm asking. Like what we see with Drake being the old head hopping on a record with a younger dude. What was our version of that with the hip hop we saw growing up in the '90s?
Two examples that immediately come to mind: Busta Rhymes jumping on everybody's remixes in the 2000s. He was doing Laffy Taffy remixes, like Busta Rhymes was everywhere. The other one is honestly what comes to mind is like Jay-Z and State Property. So instead of hopping on a remix, let me sign a bunch of young dudes, and infamously, Jay taking cues from specifically Young Chris and adapting them to his own style. That would be the closest thing, and I'm sure there's people that I'm missing that aren't coming to mind, and you can leave a comment if you have some other examples, but that's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, yeah, because I was struggling thinking of a direct, but I know there are some. Like when you hear,
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I feel like maybe this was the blueprint too, where Jay-Z had Rakim on a song with
Yeah,
Dr. Dre.
he's on the Watcher. Yeah.
That's how I felt when I heard Rakim on there. I
That
was
was
like,
more like,
it's a
because at the
OG.
time Rakim was signed to Aftermath, so this is actually like Dre trying to interject his old artists into the new energy,
Yeah,
where like it benefited Rocky. So yeah, maybe so. I feel like with
maybe.
Drake though, but I feel like with Drake though, and with Jay, and with Busta Rhymes, like when they do that, it's almost like he's doing them a favor.
I mean, there's an exchange for sure, like because they're also doing him a favor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the Scarface favor for a favor.
Right. Hey,
Just
that's my
came to my
joint.
mind. Got
That's my joint.
yeah, yeah. It was dope. But nah, man. I guess the whole pander, the theme of this conversation is like the pander. It's like the exchange to me is you want the young audience.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, blow up my numbers, and I'll give you access to the youth.
Yeah. So is there
Yes.
no,
Go
you
ahead.
got
I'm
it.
sorry.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
Nope. Just getting back to the students, like it's interesting their view of hip hop.
That was gonna be my next
Their
question.
view, yeah, their view of hip hop is somewhat open. So it's like
Mm,
they have their favorites, but they're not closed off from
mm,
recommendations. Like
mm.
it's like a distrust. It's like, if you have something to show me, then show it to me. So the end of the day, like I'm I feel hopeful from that. Like it's not like I told you, I rapped in front of my class for the first time.
Mhm.
Um, and it was pretty cool. Like I can't lie to you, bro. Like it was actually kind of dope because they were sitting there listening,
Yeah.
and I'm rapping over the Tyler instrumental, and I'm like, this is an adult moment,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But they was locked in, so it felt good to like have a generational exchange
Yeah.
to see, like there was still a connection point, a point where we can communicate on the same level. And from a, I guess, style of hip hop perspective, it's like, oh, you guys still like lyrics,
Mhm.
you know?
And I imagine that that's different for someone like you where your perspective with kids in hip hop has been like youth group raps, right? So typically when specifically with your style of music and people deciding whether to engage it or not, there's a large percentage that just by default passed you off to the kids. And as an artist who cares about your pen, you take that as a sign of disrespect because the kids like because the kids generally from that time weren't trying to hear no lyrics, not like that. Whereas now you have an experience where these kids is leaned in, head to the side, they're listening for the raps,
and it's an educational environment. You know, like it's totally different, bro. Like it's not a stage. It's very close proximity. Like, you know, when we was at Adela's, you know, like it's like close. So again, like you got to get out there and touch the people. You know what I'm saying? You got to see how it feels to deliver. And if there's a way to connect with your audience, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, this is an opportunity to make an exchange as a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like I provide education from this perspective because we was getting ready to watch Hamilton. I know, Alexander Hamilton raps.
Hate
you
Hamilton.
know. So I told them, I was like, I want to do a song of mine just to show you that I do this because we get ready to watch Hamilton and I don't have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying?
Because for many people, their default, I mean, I've had people ask me like, so do you like Hamilton? And when I say no, they're shocked. Like, what? How come you don't like Hamilton? Like, and I'm like, how could you like Hamilton?
Yeah. Because you think rap is something else than what I think it is.
Absolutely.
You know, so we were getting ready to watch that and it just provided some good context to engage through the art. So man, it was cool, man. It was a cool moment. And, you know, of course there's all kind of other ways to connect with them, but there really is a generational exchange. And, you know, I know we can kind of see younger people as more rebellious or checked out from influence, but I will say, like, it does matter where you meet them, and how far you're willing to travel to meet them there.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So, you know, you can't just be ignorant or arrogant. They can sense that and they'll just shut down to it. But at the same time, I think they're open to being taught in some ways. And for me, like it's a learning experience for me too. So bro, like that's a whole testimony and progress in terms of like healed perspective about the younger generation. I still have my critiques. I still believe that we need to have conversation about some things. But you know, I'm watching younger Christians like have their own experience. You know, they're having their own like places of enjoyment, their Christian clubs.
Woo! Bullet dodged.
But I'm still generally curious about that.
For sure. For
like,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The way I try to term it is like Christian third spaces. You know, so if they're out there, what do they look like? What do they feel like? You know, who's there?
Yep.
So that I say that to say, like, to go back to your point about rapping in front of the kids, you know, there's a certain context where that's insulting, and then there's a certain context where that makes the most sense.
For sure.
You know, and Chris and I, we were rapping in the black church, you know, and connecting the dots with hip hop in places where it would never be allowed.
Right.
But it was the style of music that, and the content that endeared us and gave us like that sense of confidence. So we didn't have to do the youth conferences and youth groups across the world to feel the validation of 1, 2, 3 jump.
Right.
You know, like we had a live band. So
Yeah.
it was a totally different experience with adults. And I think we need those Christian third spaces. Um, and some of the teenagers are looking for them
Mm-hmm.
because, bro, they gonna go some other places and see
They'll
some
go.
other things.
They'll go. They'll go.
So
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. For sure. Is there? Because I want to land the plane. Um, I guess I want to ask, like, is there a difference you think in how the older audience and the younger audience responds to, I mean, God, not only just a Joe Budden versus Drake, but just in like that sort of dynamic, that sort of interaction? Is it, I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this question, but I guess, are you seeing differences in how people are maybe responding to the music, to the art generationally? And is there a place as older artists where we can maybe take cues?
Um, well, I mean, I think, really the vulnerability expression is universally accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're vulnerable about how you feel or stuff that you're trying to learn. And I mean, man, like I think the kids, and I'm affectionately calling them the kids. Some people call them the babies, but I found out they don't like that. So
Really?
so I have to kind of watch it sometimes, and and for real, like because they fighting for their dignity. They're like,
For sure. For
don't call
sure.
me no kid, you
For
know.
sure.
So I basically bow out in that conflict just to say like they connect with people who are just gonna be real, be
Yeah.
tangible, be accessible. Sometimes the accessibility feels like, a little rushed and overwhelming, but it's on us as adults to figure out how to manage that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in generally speaking, like if the music has some sort of real message, they can connect with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's what I experienced surprisingly with the album that I released, talking about grief and my mom and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like younger people connected with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Not
saying?
surprised. Not
So
surprised to hear that.
so again, like I'm working through my expectations as one of a lyrical rapper, like who would even feel this? And I'm getting some responses that surprise me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm cool letting younger people have their moment, have their experience and their taste.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to invade your tastes. You know what I'm saying? Like if we exchange, then that's cool, but you're having your own experience. Have fun.
We often talk about social media and just how like detrimental and dangerous it is, and all of the images that kids are taking in by constantly being on their phones. But I've learned, though that has a lot of merit and truth to it, I've also learned that it has given this generation more capacity to like understand things that we couldn't even have fathomed when we were their age. And so in turn, it shows up like this, where not only are they able to take in different types of music, because when we were coming up, like audiences were more fragmented. Like it was like, honestly, it was the white people when they would make a CD, it'd be like Joe Budden, then it would be like Fall Out Boy, and then it would be like Pink. It'd be all over the place. Whereas like the black experience was a lot more fragmented. It was hip hop and R&B, and it was certain types of hip hop. So the backpackers were over here, the party dudes was over here. You know what I'm saying? The gangsters was over here. So now this generation, because they're exposed to so much, it's not surprising to see that someone listened to New Edition and like Motley Crue and Doja Cat and DMX and so it makes sense that a Taelor Gray can fit in that space, because now they're able to not only enjoy the music, but they're able to listen and hear what you're saying, and if not completely comprehend everything, at least have the capacity to ask the right questions to gain understanding. You know what I'm saying? This generation is different, bro. Like, they got it. They got it.
They have some major strengths, and I just think, the more we acknowledge that we need each other, then we'll get to a better place. Like, it doesn't have to be conflict. It's like, let's just figure out how to get into a rhythm and have mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the challenge, but I'm down for it, bro. Like, I've seen some good things that have, like, remember we went on that trip to the college, and I was like, yo, man, I don't know how this gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Like, we saw the artists that went up before me, and it was like, yo, okay, how's this gonna go? But I'm getting surprised more and more, how widely this translates. So
Yeah.
I guess the whole idea of being yourself, like, is a powerful concept. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and bro, I don't know if you want to land a plane, but I just want to say this real quick. Like, we be having conversations that go to layers that most other conversations don't go to. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when these kind of conversations just exist in the world, in the space, somebody gets led back to it in some kind of real way. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost kind of like the community you've developed is tuned in to, like, some layers of what they know you're going to talk about and address.
Yeah.
And, like, when we talk like this, I expect somebody to check in on this later. I'm a person that goes and listens to links from like 10, 15 years ago and be like, wow, they was talking about this. And I feel like that's the kind of conversation we have and have been having.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's going to have to be something that we do again.
For sure. Absolutely. You always welcome in this space. Just, you know what I'm saying? Whenever you're ready. So I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate everybody who stayed on. Normally we're only here for an hour. We went over hour and a half. That's fine. Kids ain't here. I'm kidless for the week, so I can Yo, man, I needed that break. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Taylor, you got anything you want to promote? Anything you got going on? Anything you want to share with the people?
If you stay into the end and you're from Columbus, the We Go On tour is coming to Columbus, Ohio next Thursday. And yes, next Thursday, right? I'm gonna start saying stuff on my social media about it, but it's gonna be a dope time. Swoop is performing some records from his new album. There's some conversation around grief, and just overall mental health. And it's just one of those Christian third spaces.
Yep. That album is, I told him that's his Mr. Morale.
It's crazy.
That's his Mr. Morale. It's an album that's so good I never need to hear it again because it was a lot. It was a great listen.
It
was a great listen.
There's some points.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot to take in. Like, wow. So, but yeah, shout out to Swoop for sure. Okay, yeah. Next Thursday we go on. I think that's at the Forum, right?
Yep, at the Forum downtown.
Okay. All right, bet. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great night. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, y'all know me. Find me on Patreon, at Armand WakeUp, at Taelor _Gray on social media platforms to follow my guy. And I get with y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. See y'all next time.
Peace.